Hello students, we will be studying about the chapter antibody today. Now what are these antibodies? Antibodies are proteins. They are synthesized by the host B lymphocytes and plasma cells when they come in contact with the foreign antigen. That is, you can say infectious microbes, etc. Okay, so these antibodies, they are, you can define them as they are specialized kind of serum proteins. Okay, and they are formed in response to a antigenic stimulus. Okay, and they are closely related, and they are specific to that particular antigen. Okay, they are specific to that particular antigen, and these antibodies, when they are present in the serum, and those specific to that particular antigen, that's called as an anti-serum. Okay, and they are called as magic bullets of the immune system, because these are the ones who forms, who combines with the antigens. They are specific and they will be identified as an antigen antibody complex, hence will be destroyed by a immunological cell. So basically, the chemical structure, the composition, this was explained by G.M. Edelman and R.M. Potter, and they were awarded a Nobel Prize in the year 1970 for their study. And if we have to study about the structure of the antibody, uh, this is the basic structure or the chemical structure of the antibody. It is a T-shaped structure, and when this comes in combination with the particular its specific antigen, it acquires a Y-shaped structure. Now if we have to see the antibody here, it is a Y-shaped structure, and it is a polypeptide. It's basically a protein. Of course, it is made up of amino acids, and it is made up of heavy chain and light chain. So whatever you see here, the long ones are called as heavy chains, and they are made up of 440 amino acids, and these smaller ones are called as the light chain. They are made up of 220 amino acids. Now this number varies, it differs from every different antibody. Now the heavy chain and this part of the antibody, it is called as the antigen binding site, because this is the place where the antigen comes and binds. About 10 to 15 amino acids in the antigen binding site, or in the antigen binding site is made up of around 10 to 15 amino acids, and this part where the antigen binds around 10 to 15 amino acids, it is called as the variable region, which consists of both heavy chain and the light chain, the one which I am showing you now here. Now what is the variable region? Now this variable region varies. The sequence of amino acids or the kind of amino acids will change here. Now this depends on the type of antigen. I told you every antibody is different. It is specific for its particular antigen. So that is why, depending on the kind of antigen, the arrangement of the the sequence of the amino acids and the type of amino acids varies here, it changes here. So that's why it is called as a variable region, and this is a place where antigen comes and binds, and hence it is called as antigen binding site. Now this part where there is a small bend, okay, wherein I told you it is quite flexible. It is a T-shaped structure, and when it binds to an antigen, it takes up the Y-shaped structure. Now this part where there is a bend, it's called as a hinge region, which is a flexible region. And this the rest of the antibody, the rest of the structure of the antibody is called both the heavy chain and the light chain, which is shown in blue here. It is called as the constant region. Now why it is called as a constant region? Because the kind of amino acids, the sequence of amino acids do not change, it remains same, so that is why it is called as constant region. So that is made up of heavy chain also and light chain, both heavy chain and light chain. And the heavy chain is joined together by disulfide bonds, and in turn again this heavy chain is connected to the light chain by disulfide bonds. And these antibodies, they have different number of amino acids. It varies depending on the kind of antigens, and also it varies depending on the type of antibodies. There are different types of antibodies. Now this part of the antibody is called as the Fc region. It's called as fragment of crystallization. Now why? Because this is the part where the complement or the other cells of the immune system will come and bind. This is a place where the antigen binds, and this is a place where the complement binds. This is called as the Fc region. So these are the different parts of the antibody. Now there are different types of antibodies. We can name them depending on their structure, depending on their functions, depending on their molecular weight. There we can classify them as IgG, IgM, IgA, IgD and IgE. So we can remember them as GMADE. So IgG, IgM, IgA, IgD and IgE. Moving on to the properties of the antibody. Each antibody, the first type is IgG. IgG antibody, it's the most abundant among the all types of antibodies, around 80% among all the this is the highest concentration of antibody present in the serum, 80% in the entire antibody pool. This is called as the maternal antibody because this is the only antibody which crosses the placenta. It can cross the placenta from the mother to the fetus. Its molecular weight is around 1,50,000 Dalton, with 440 amino acids in the heavy chain and 220 amino acids in the light chain. Heavy chain, the molecular weight is 50,000 Dalton, and the light chain, the molecular weight is 25,000 Dalton. There are different types of IgGs, that is IgG1, IgG2, IgG3 and IgG4. Now this differs based on the kind of variable region. Moving on to the next type of the antibody, that is IgM. This is the membrane bound antibody, and this is the largest antibody, not in terms of concentration but in terms of molecular weight. It is the largest antibody that is present. Okay, and it is the third abundant antibody present in the entire antibody pool. It is having 5 units of the antibody. Okay, and its molecular weight is 9 lakh kilodalton, 9 lakh Dalton. So its valency is 10, which means you can see it is made up of 5 antibodies put together or joined together consists of IgM. It is having low affinity, that means attraction power is less, but once it attracts, its binding capacity is very high, so which means it has high avidity. Okay, and this is the antibody first which is present or which is produced after the after the infection. On the onset of the infection, IgM is the antibody which is produced initially. Okay, so as soon as a person gets infected with any particular antigen, the IgM is the antibody which is produced first. As the infection proceeds, the concentration of IgM decreases and IgG increases. Okay, but as soon as the initiation of the infection, IgM is the one which is produced first. So they can ask you in exam, which is the name the antibody which is produced first as soon as the infection starts. So you have to talk about IgM. And you can see these antibodies are joined together. Okay, they are joined together again by disulfide bonds, and all the Fc regions are connected to each other. So which means the antigens can come and bind here, but the other cells of the immune system cannot bind because they in turn are connected to each other, and they have one chain called as the J chain, or the joining chain, through which they are connected to each other. Moving on to the next kind of antibody, which is called as antibody A or immunoglobulin A. Around 10 to 15% of the total antibodies, this antibody is present. This is called as the secretory antibody because this antibody is present during in all the body secretions, like your mucus of the respiratory tract, which is a secretion of your body, milk, it's present in the milk, it's present in the saliva, it is present in the tears. So these are all your body secretions, and in these secretions this particular antibody is present. Of course, it is first secreted, it is first produced in your serum, and then it gets transferred into your secretions. Initially, during the production, it is a monomer. Okay, it exists as a monomer, but when it moves into your body secretions, it converts into a dimer, which means you can see it is made up of two types of antibodies, and these two antibodies are in turn connected to each other with a J chain, which is called as the secretory chain. Its half-life is around 6 to 8 days. Remember, this is the antibody, this is called as a secretory antibody. Its valency is 4. It can attach to 4 antigenic bind. It has 4 antigen binding sites. Moving on to the next type of antibody, which is your IgD. It is a monomer. Okay, just like your IgG it is. The percentage is very less here. It is around 0.2%, and yeah, it's present near the B cells, in the blood and the lymph nodes, and half-life is around 3 days. It has no particular function as such. It is highly susceptible. It gets denatured very fast, and its exact function, its proper function is not yet known, but it always is associated with the IgG and IgM, and helps in its function. As such, independently its function is not yet known, or it does not initiate any immune response by itself. It cannot transfer the placenta. Now, why have I put this word here? Since it is a monomer, even though it is a monomer, it will not transfer, it will not get transferred or moved from the placenta. So that's about your IgD. Moving on to IgE antibody, it is associated more towards your hypersensitivity reactions. Okay, it goes and attaches to the mast cells or the eosinophils. These are the cells mainly the IgE is associated to, and this is more involved in the allergic reactions. How much of IgE is present? Very less, 0.002%, 1 to 2% the IgEs are present, and it initiates the inflammatory reaction. It is a monomer, you can see it is a monomer. Now if I have to talk about this particular cell, generally you know that the antibodies, B lymphocytes will give rise to plasma cells. Plasma cells will in turn produce the antibodies. Now which antibodies? It has to actually give rise to IgM and IgG when there is an antigen, but due to certain genetic variation, instead of IgG and IgM, IgE is produced. Now this IgE goes and attacks the mast cells in the presence of a pollen, and these mast cells or the eosinophils will get degranulated. The wall, the membrane of the mast cells will get degranulated. As a result, components of the mast cells or the eosinophils gets leaked out into the environment. Now what is there inside the mast cells? The histamines are there, heparins are there, they are allergic. Now they will go and cause allergic reactions. Now in detail about this hypersensitivity we will be studying in hypersensitivity reaction, but this you have to understand that IgE generally is involved in allergic reaction, or it is called as a it mainly is initiates or participates in hypersensitivity reactions. Thank you.